In this video, we're going to dive into a key San Diego housing market metric to keep an eye on going into 2025 to give us a good idea on home price momentum, while other indicators have really not been great during this turbulent past few years. This one has been proven to be effective. And the key metric we are going to dive into is comparing where the current market of active inventory is compared to 2019 in the same month. Now, I've always mentioned 2019 as a more normalized year when we didn't have a heavy buyer's market, we didn't have a heavy seller's market, a little bit more of a normalized market right here in San Diego. And so we're going to dive into where those numbers are right here for San Diego, but then I'm also going to show you where it compares to a few other markets, because if you're watching real estate content or you're just scrolling through your newsfeed and you see what's happening in certain other markets, it might not necessarily be what's happening right here in San Diego. As always, even within San Diego, real estate is super local. So even if you're in Carlsbad or La Jolla or Poway or Scripps Ranch, all those markets can be completely different depending on where you're living. So we're going to give you a broad overview right now of San Diego, let you know where these are and let you know what that means going into 2025. And generally speaking, housing markets where the active inventory has gone above the 2019 levels, we've seen home prices soften or even decline from their 2022 peaks. However, in housing markets where we have seen active inventory stay below that 2019 level, we've seen home prices be a little bit more resilient from 2022 on. So where does San Diego fall on that? That's what we're going to dive into. As always, if you guys want to speak about your certain situation, whether you are buying or selling right here in San Diego, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is right down in the description below. We got your back when making the move here in San Diego. All right, so as we dive into these four charts, we're going to show you where San Diego does fall on this. And as I mentioned, housing markets where active inventory has risen back above pre-pandemic 2019 levels are more likely to have seen home prices fall from their 2022 peak. Right in here gets a little hectic. So anything above this line mean home prices are above their peak. Anything below this line right here of 0, home prices are below their 2022 peak. So you can see some of them, Austin below, Punta Gorda in Florida below, some of them down here, Boise, San Francisco's, all that kind of stuff. Now, where does San Diego fall on all that? It is right in here. So local home prices since the market's 2022 peak are up 4.7%. Now, inventory compared to pre-pandemic levels is down almost 30%. So you can see San Diego down almost 30% compared to where we were in 2019 equals home prices being up. And here's just the same chart, but on the left side, you have active inventory is still below pre-pandemic levels. On the right, active inventory is above pre-pandemic levels. So some of them, like these big guys in here, you have Miami, they're still up from their peak. Right in here, you have New York. Up here, you have Chicago. And then San Diego is once again right in here. And now we are going to look and just compare where San Diego has been over these past few years. Where are we compared to, 30% below, but what are those actual numbers? So this is the active housing inventory for sale compared to pre-pandemic levels. So here in San Diego, let's compare it over these past few years, where we are, how close we are to where we need to be. Yeah, we see it's down 30%, but what actual number is that? This is the inventory in September 2024, September all the way going back to 2016. So inventory, just the number of homes for sale. As we're looking at this, the inventory of 2024 was 4646. You can see in September 21 and 2023, we had extremely low inventory. We're well off those. So if we were anywhere below there, we would still see home prices going up. We'd still see a hectic market. Even in 2020, we saw below 4,000. Now, the 2019 level, why we compare that to there is because it is like I said, a more normalized market where we did have about 6,600 homes on the market. So while we're not completely where we need to be, we are trending in the right direction. And now here is the change in home prices over that same time. So the shift since the local 2022 peak, we're up 4.7%. Month over month, so August to September this year, we're actually down 0.6%. You kind of see that a lot of times towards the end of the year, just a little bit of seasonality. As you go towards the end of the year, you might see prices dip a little bit and jump back up going into the new year. But there has been quite the change over these past 5 years right here in San Diego. And here's just a quick other view of where we are trending for 2024. You can see starting at the beginning of this year, we've been on a steady climb of inventory, the number of homes for sale, which is really good for the market as a whole, where you get a little more relief for buyers. Sellers, homes are still selling where you don't have an excess amount of inventory. That's what they're saying as we go towards these levels up here of 2019. If we did see the number of homes right here outpace the level over here, then that's where we'd potentially see some home prices drop. So some of the markets, just to compare to size and where we are here in San Diego going back, you can see some of the Texas markets, Austin in general, about 10,719 homes. Compare that to 2019 was 7,640. Even going up to Dallas, where they have a huge surge in inventory, but they're only a little bit above where they were in 2019. And then right here, just for changes, we have Austin. Since their 2022 shift, you could see inventory was well above the 2019 levels. And the 2022 peak, they are almost 20% below that. Now jumping into Dallas, where they've seen a lot of inventory growth, but it's only a little bit above those 2019 levels. You've seen about a 4% growth. So hopping back into San Diego, here we are, upward trend, very good for the San Diego housing market. Where we peaked out right here, about 7,000 homes in 2019, about almost 8,000 homes in 2018. So nowhere near there. So until this number starts climbing and surpassing that same month where we were in 2019, you can expect home prices to continue where they are going right now. Maybe a little dip going into the latter part of this year. As we see seasonality, we see less buyers going into the market. You see a little bump up going into the new year. But at that point, we might also see more sellers coming on the market, people who have waited for a while. Now it's time to sell. We're getting into a more normalized period where we are seeing more listings coming on. We're seeing a little bit of buildup in homes. Market times are getting a little bit longer. So that's why this is the key metric right here in San Diego. If we see this jump up significantly, like some of those other markets where we do go beyond the 2019 levels, then we can definitely see a much more drastic change here in the San Diego real estate market. And when the time is right and you are thinking about making that move, as a quick reminder, I'm Chris Erickson. We got a real estate crew right here in San Diego. All of our contact info is right below. Let's start that conversation and see how we can best help you. We love making these videos, but we also would love to help you with all your real estate needs. So feel free to reach out because we got your back when making the move here in San Diego.